ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साई करुणानंद महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु जगत गुरु बाल युगराज साई नारायण महाराज की जय। साई लीलावती माता की जय। श्री साई सच्चरित्र चैप्टर 37, Chowdi procession. In this chapter, Himadpant, after making some preliminary observations on some points of Vedanta, describes the Chowdi procession. Preliminary. Blessed is Sai's life for his devotees. Blessed is his daily routine. His ways and actions are indescribable. Sometimes he was intoxicated with Brahmananda, divine bliss, and at other times completely self absorbed. While doing so many things at the same time, he was yet unconcerned with them. Though he seemed at times quite inactive, he was not idle or dozing. He always abided in his own self. Though he looked calm and placid as the sea, he was deep and unfathomable. Who can describe his ineffable nature? He regarded men as brothers, women as sisters and mothers. He was a perfect celibate, as everybody knows. May the knowledge we got in his company last long unto death. Let us ever serve him with wholehearted devotion to his feet. Let us see him, God in all beings, and let us constantly remember his name. Hemadpant, after making some lengthy dissertations on some topics of Vedanta, which he himself considers as a decretion, goes on to describe the Chowri procession. Chowri procession. Baba's dormitory has been already described. One day he slept in the masjid and on the next in the Chowri. Near the masjid he slept in the masjid and in the Chowri on alternate days. This alternate sleeping at both these places went on till Baba's Mahasamadhi. From 10th December 1909, devotees began to offer regular worship to Baba in the Chowri. This we will now describe with His grace. When the day of retiring to the Chowdi came, people flocked to the masjid and did bhajan in the mandap courtyard for a few hours. Behind them there was a beautiful palanquin, to the right a Tulsi Vrindavan, and in front Baba adorned his seat, and there were the devotees singing bhajan. Man and woman who had liking for the bhajan came in time. Some took tal, chiplis and kartal, mridanga, kanjari and ghol, all musical instruments in their hands, and conducted the bhajan. Sai Baba was the magnet who drew all the devotees to him. Outside in the open, some trimmed their divatyas, torches, some decorated the palanquin, some stood with the cane stakes in their hands and hailed victory to Baba. The corners were decorated with paintings. In the masjid, rows of burning oil lamps shed their light. Baba's horse, Shamkarna, stood fully decorated outside. Then Tata Patil came with a group of men to Baba and asked him to be ready. Baba sat quiet in his place till Tata came and helped him to get up by putting his arm under Baba's arm. Tata called Baba by the name of Mama, maternal uncle. Really, their relationship was extremely intimate. Baba wrote on his body the usual kafani, took his satka short stick under his armpit, and after taking his chilam, tobacco pipe and tobacco, and placing a cloth over his shoulder, became ready to start. Then Tatya placed a golden embroidered beautiful shela shawl over his body. After this, Baba himself put a few fuel sticks into the dhuni to keep it alive. With his right hand, anguished the lamp burning near the dhuni, and then started for the chowdi. Then all sorts of musical instruments, band and horns, etc., gave out different sounds, and fireworks exhibited various colored views. Man and woman singing Baba's name started walking, doing bhajan to the accompaniment of Nidang and Veena. Some danced with joy and some carried various flags. The Baldars announced Baba's name when he came on the steps of the masjid. On the two sides of a Baba stood person with held charmers and others who fanned Baba on the way we were spread folds of cloth which Baba walked on, being supported by Baba's hands. Tatya Patil held the left hand and the Malsapati the right hand. And the Babu Sahib Jog held the chhatra, umbrella over his head. In this fashion, Baba marched on to the Chawdi. The fully decorated horse named Shamakarna led the way, and behind him were all the carriers, waiters, musical players, and the crowd of devotees. Hari Nam, the name of the Lord, was being chanted to the accompaniment of music, as also the name of Sai. In this manner, the procession reached a corner, and everyone who joined this party seemed pleased and delighted. On reaching to this corner, Baba stood facing the Chawdi and shone with a peculiar aura. It seemed as if the face of the Baba took over the glory of the rising sun. Baba stood there with a concentrated mind, facing the north as if he was signaling something. All the instruments played music while Baba moved his hand up and down for some time. Kakasaheb Dikshit at this time came forward with a silver plate containing flowers besmeared with gulal, red powder, and threw them on Baba's body. Off and on, the musical instruments played their best at this juncture, and Baba's face beamed with the radiance and beauty. And all the persons viewed this luster to their hearts and hearts content. Words fail to describe the splendor of this scene. Sometimes Malsapati began to dance as if possessed by some deity. But all were surprised to see that Baba's concentration was least disturbed. With a lantern in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left side and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding in his hand and the hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession, and what an expression of devotion to witness this man and woman. Poor and rich flocked there. Baba walked at a very slow pace. Bhaktas followed on both sides with love and devotion, with joy permeating the whole atmosphere of the place, and the procession reached the Chowri. Those days are gone now. Nobody can see them in the future, but by remembering and visualizing that sight, we can bring solace and ecstasy to our minds. The Chawdi was also fully decorated with a good white ceiling mirrors and many sorts of lamps. On reaching there, Tatya went ahead and spread a asan, seat cushion, and placing a bolster, made Baba sit there and made him wear a garkha coat, and then the devotees worshipped him in various ways. They put a crown on his head with a tuft above, placed garlands of flowers and jewels around his neck, and marking his forehead with some musk mixed vertical lines as Vaishnava devotees do. They gazed at him for long to their heart's content. They changed his head dress now and then, held it loft on her head, fearing that Baba might throw it away. Baba knew what the bhaktas wished for and meekly submitted to their ways without objection. With these adornments, he looked wonderful and beautiful. Nana Sahib Nimongar held a chhatra, state umbrella, with his beautiful pendants which moved in a circle. With its supportive stick, Bapu Sahib Jog washed his feet in a silver dish, offered arghya, and worshipped with due formalities, then besmeared his arms with sandal paste and offered him tambul, betel leaves. Baba sat on the asana gaddi while Tatya and others kept standing. When Baba sat on the gaddi, supporting himself against the bolster, devotees on both sides waved charmers and fans. Shama then prepared the chilam and handed it over to the Tatya Patil, who drew a flame out of it by inhaling a deep breath through his mouth and then gave it to Baba. After Baba had his smoke, it was given to Bhagat Malsapati, then it was passed down to all. Blessed was the animate Chilam, it had first to undergo many ordeals of penance, such as being kneaded by pot makers, died in a sun, and burned in a fire, and then it had the good fortune to get the contact of Baba's hand and his kiss. After this function was over, devotees put garlands of flowers around his neck and gave him scent and bunches of flowers. Baba, who was an incarnation of this passion, cared a fig for all these thick necklaces of jewels and garlands of flowers and other decorations, but out of the real love to his devotees, he allowed them to have their own way and to please themselves. Finally, Bapu Sahib Joe waved the aarti over Baba, observing all formalities and musical instruments played in their auspicious tunes. When this aarti was over, the devotees returned home one by one, saluting Baba and taking his leave. When Tata Patil, after offering chilam, attar, scent, and a rose water, stood to the depart, and Baba said to him lovingly, "Guard me properly, go if you like, but return sometimes at night and inquire for me." On replying in the affirmative, Tata Patil left the chowri and went home. Then Baba himself prepared his bed. He arranged some sheets one upon another, and thus making his bed went to rest. We shall now take rest and close this chapter with a request to the readers that they should remember Baba and his Chawri procession daily before they retire and go to the bed. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sai Karnananda Maharaj ki jai. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Jagat Guru Balugiraj Sai Nara Maharaj ki jai. Sai Leelavati Mata ki jai. Om Sai Ram.